Oh, just an unbelievable race. I've never seen a race quite like it. Absolutely amazing. And people wonder why they call it the race that stops the nation. Oh, wonder no longer. If you're not from here, you just wouldn't know.
Tonight, it's Beauty versus Hungry Beast.
How would you have the guts to wear that?
We asked, does Jesus have issues? Ever wanted to wage war with an army of mechanised killbots?
For $1,000 US, you can build your own.
More reliable than an Afghani election, that's Hungry Beast. Tonight. But first, is Kevin Rudd planning a career change?
Dan, when I say Kevin Rudd, what do you think?
I think of a natural and charismatic performer, or so it would seem if you visited his website.
For a government that's criticised for being more style over substance, he does have a lot of celebrity interviews on his site.
This week, Sarah Murdoch swung by to talk about body image, and Kevin is so engaged in the conversation, you can almost imagine what he's thinking.
At the moment.
Afghanistan, refugees, oil slick, hairdryer. Hairdryer.
You are so politically correct. I know what the PM was really thinking.
This is the perfect timing to do this. I think that the community...
Look at her face, look at her face, look at her face, don't look at her tits. Oh, so close.
Body types and different types of people.
The Ruddster really knows how to pull the A-list. There is a cavalcade of celebrities on his website, including sporting stars.
Thank you.
You silly girl. Such a jokester.
Kev also jokes with former rock stars.
I'm getting ready for the Ashes test. Good luck. Thank you. Okay.
Killer stuff, and he even has the odd casual conversation with living national treasurers.
So here you went teaching yesterday at Padua.
I certainly did. There's a couple of bright sparks there. They gave me a grilling.
A hard time?
Yeah, I think you'd call it that. They enjoyed it. So did I.
What'd you get wrong? What'd you get right?
Wow, he is a natural. Someone should sign him up. Yeah. And with Monday's news poll showing that Labor's approval rating has dropped 7%, he might just need a backup career.
Well, with the weekend paper saying that Rove will be taking a break next year, perhaps 10 might be plugging the gap with this.
Next week on an All-Star Rudd, we turn up the heat with Al Gore. Fresh from Celebrity MasterChef, Anna Bligh pops by. And Kevin kicks it with AFL legend Chris Judd.
He's the Judster. He's seriously talented. I'm the Ruddster.
Plus, a very special live performance from Midnight Oil, as well as all your favourite segments and all your old mates. Swanee, Pete and Kate. That's me. All this and more next week on Rudd.
Do you want me to throw you down the stairs and kill you? Allegedly said by Catherine Keating, daughter of former Prime Minister Paul Keating, to a Sunday Telegraph photographer at the State Theatre. Catherine Keating denies saying this. Sunday Telegraph, November 1st, 2009.
Matters for which there is no public right to know ought to be the preserve of the citizenry in its privacy. Paul Keating calling for the rewriting of privacy laws in response to the Sunday Telegraph article. Sydney Morning Herald, November 2nd, 2009.
What we have now is a man calling for a new law so that people like him can use their wealth, power and privileged positions to avoid scrutiny when it suits them. John Hartigan, Chairman and Chief Executive of News Limited, in response to Paul Keating. Sydney Morning Herald, November 2nd, 2009.
Right now, unmanned aerial drones are in the skies over Iraq and Afghanistan. We have robots that can open fire without human guidance. Some are disturbingly lifelike. Others, like this cyborg beetle, are actually alive. Robots will fight the wars of the future. What does this mean for us? This is the final part of our interview with Peter Singer, author of Wired for War, former advisor to Barack Obama.
When people talk about these technologies in terms of the robots revolution, they need to remember that we're not just talking about an American phenomenon, an American revolution. There are 43 other countries that are building, buying, and using military robotics today. And they range from countries like Great Britain, Australia, Israel, to countries like China, Russia, Iran, Pakistan. And so it's very much a globalizing realm. There's another part of this aspect in terms of the changes of war is what I call the open source revolution. A lot of the technology is commercial. It's off the shelf. It's even do-it-yourself. For example, one of the most widely used drones in Iraq and Afghanistan is what they call the Raven drone. For $1,000 US, you can build your own. And if you can do it, it means there's a wide set of non-state actors that might do so. The war between Israel and Hezbollah. Hezbollah may not be a formal military, may not even be a formal nation state, but it still was able to fly 4 drones at Israel.
The implications for future acts of terrorism are clear.
That is, Al-Qaeda 2.0, they can be more lethal, have greater reach, all those sorts of things.
Having robots fight our future battles will change the way we think about war.
Most of our democracies right now, we don't declare war anymore. And now we have this technology that allows us to carry out acts of force, acts of violence, without sending people into harm's way. We just do it because we view it as costless to us.
Future wars will not only be easier to wage, they will become entertainment.
This technology doesn't just remove the human from risk, it records everything that it sees. We have several thousand video clips of combat footage from Iraq and Afghanistan up on sites like YouTube.com already right now. And so for some people, the ability to download a video clip of combat from Afghanistan is turning this not into information, but turning war into entertainment. And the soldiers, they have a name for these kind of YouTube war clips. They call it war porn.
Most systems currently used in war are operated remotely by humans, but prototypes in development mean this will not always be the case.
There's this idea, there's this phrase that people use again and again and again when you talk to them about military robotics. And they say, man will always be in the loop. But it's absurd. It's proving to be false. Because guess what? We are working on systems right now to take us out of the loop. In the research for my book, I came across 5 different projects on armed autonomous systems, one of which had the actual name, quote, taking man out of the loop. So we say we'll never, ever, ever do it, but yet we come up with very good reasons to, and in fact are doing so right now.
Armed, autonomous robots working together. Is this how Skynet begins?
When people talk about robotics and artificial intelligence in war, it very quickly gets to the question of, when are the metal ones coming for me? When is the Terminator scenario? When's Skynet going to emerge? We're not there yet. We don't have to think about the Terminator for us to say, you know what, it's time for us to start thinking about this. Scientists I met with worried that it was the equivalent of the atomic bomb and that it was an invention that maybe later on we were going to regret making. But the odd thing is, most of the inventors of the first atomic bomb later formed the very first arms control movement to ban the very thing they had invented. And so it's that parallel that I think maybe concerns me the most, that if we look in history, we have this series of experiences of opening up Pandora's box and then going, wow, maybe we should have thought about it a little bit first. Maybe we should have examined the box, understood it. I think my concern is that we are probably going to repeat the mistakes that we've made in past generations.
Over the past 12 months, under the Obama presidency, the use of US drones in places like Pakistan has increased by at least 50%. Robots will fight the wars of the future. How much of a say we want in that future is a question for us now. You can find the full interview with Peter Singer on our website, abc.net.au/hungrybeast.
Meet Nehl Blue, a shy American on the Australian scene. Nehl owns US-based Sequoia Fuels Corporation. In 1992, their uranium plant was shut down for repeated safety breaches. Nearby groundwater was found to have uranium levels 35,000 times higher than the accepted standard. Nehl is also CEO and chairman of US arms manufacturer General Atomics. General Atomics once paid a private investigator to pose as a Kurdish refugee and infiltrate green groups. General Atomics also make Predator drones, the unmanned spy planes the US military uses in Iraq and Afghanistan. Nehl has brought members of the US Congress over here to talk Predator drones with our government. He has also welcomed Australian MPs to his headquarters at General Atomics. That's because Nehl is now the man behind Australia's new 4 Mile uranium mine. Uranium, politicians, Predator drones, and a fake Kurd. All on the public record. All part of the company world of Nehl Blue.
The devil. Is there anything that's not his fault? Over the past month alone, Satan has been blamed for swine flu, the war in Iraq, electric companies, American healthcare, abortion, gay rights, religion, the number of Australian politicians with marriage problems, video games, country music, hermaphrodites, Land Rovers, the Backstreet Boys' latest album, the rating success of Hey Hey It's Saturday, and even office fridges. Multitasking's all well and good, but when you're in an eternal war with God, who has time to design and distribute workplace refrigeration? To put it into context, if you're this guy...
Where are my keys?
Assume Satan has bigger fish to possess. On the other hand, if you're this guy... Then maybe you've got a point. Think of Satan as currency. The more you blame him for things like pineapple on pizza, the less he's worth when you blame him for something really important, like the redesign of Facebook. The devil's had his due, so if you need to blame someone, try yourself. Because blaming the devil, that's a little bit bullshit.
Good job.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
You want to grab a beer?
Oh, no, I can't. I've got
Come
to
on.
All right, just one.
Yeah, come on.
Incidents of domestic assault are up to 64% higher in some states on Melbourne Cup Day. Australian Domestic and Family Violence Clearinghouse, 2007. More slaves are in bondage today than were stolen in the entire 400 years of the transatlantic legal slave trade. Rolling Stone. In April next year, Mattel are releasing a new Ken doll called Palm Beach Sugar Daddy Ken. Toplessrobot.com.
Are you fat and ugly? Well, don't worry. You probably just think you are because you've been bombarded with unrealistic, digitally enhanced, cropped, stretched, defreckled, de-wrinkled and airbrushed images at every turn. Even children as young as 6 are becoming increasingly conscious of the way they look, and the government is finally doing something about it. Or are they? Kirsten Drysdale takes it from here.
The real me.
It's real, it's beautiful, and we want to see more of it.
The first completely undigitally enhanced cover of the magazine, so there, wrinkles and all.
Very good, well done.
Last week, with great fanfare, the government released a proposed national strategy on body image.
This is really big. It's important. It's all about how our young people in particular feel about themselves.
We're now looking at ways that we can encourage different organisations to get on board and be a part of it.
It's targeting all magazines, I think that, and all industries.
Media outlets trumpeted the good news. War declared on body image myths. War? Really? Let's have a look at what actually happened. An advisory board submitted a proposed strategy and recommendations, one of which was a voluntary code of conduct which encourages organisations who wish to sign up to it to abide by its rules. The government said they'd look into it and get back to us next year. But why all the fuss over a magazine for women aged 25 to 54 when...
Research has shown that it's also starting at as young as 5, 6, 7 years of age, which is just...
5, 6 and 7.
I mean, we're talking about our little kids here who are starting to be influenced at such a young age about how they look.
But their proposal doesn't even address one of the main sources of this influence. Welcome to the world of tween mags.
Her fashion is so ugly. She just does not have the right looks.
Now, these mags are not so much about unrealistic depictions of beauty, which would fall under the code's guidelines, as about priming young girls to start thinking about how they look.
Oh, that dress looks horrible, and I just can't get over how would you have the guts to wear that?
The Australian tween market is worth $10 billion per year. These magazines in particular are highly profitable, with a significant amount of those dollars coming from fashion and beauty product advertisers.
Disney Girl influences today's tweens by delivering a fun mix of celebrity gossip, fashion and beauty advice. The Disney Girl reader is into all the latest fashion trends and loves swapping beauty tips.
That's how Disney Girl describes itself to advertisers. And even though the government's own information paper says mags like this are linked to body image concerns in kids aged 5 to 8...
We didn't specifically look at children or what's appropriate for children.
The tween market was only created in the past decade to target prepubescent consumers, what marketers describe as a new economic force. Take a look at Total Girl. This mag tops the tween girls market with a readership of 271,000, meaning 1 in 4 girls that age read it. Almost 40% of the products advertised are related in some way to fashion and beauty.
I like that look.
Did your mum buy you all your outfits?
I'm allowed to pick, but if it shows too much, she won't let me, which I don't get because she doesn't get what's fashion. I don't really like it, so it's too like girlish. So I hardly ever wear makeup. I love the beauty bits where celebrities say, oh, you should do this.
Before you can have a problem with body image, you need to be conscious of your body image. If the government is as serious about tackling body image as they say they are, and the fact that it's affecting kids as young as
5, 6 and 7.
Let's hope they come back to us next year with a plan that includes dealing with the way fashion and beauty is marketed to young children.
It'd be really good if we get to a stage where the most important thing in defining how a woman or a girl is valued by society isn't necessarily just the way she looks.
Sometimes I think, oh, that's actually a great tip, but sometimes I also think, well, that's pretty pointless. I mean, we're just kids.
The tween market has really excited broadcasters and advertisers alike, so much so that plans are afoot to take this excellent show from Channel 7.
2, 1.
Oh my gosh.
Looks like she's maybe 30.
And give it a makeover.
Just 10 days ago, the public voted Annie's average age was 5 years old. But with some expert help, she's totally transformed, so it's finally time to see her new look. We'll go in 1, 2, 3. Oh, she's just beautiful. Just like Miley Cyrus. Gone are the frumpy play shorts and in its place, slick feminine party gear. These smouldering sexy eyes and hair extensions say it's time to hit the town. But what does the public think?
14, 15, 23.
25.
Yeah, she's got a pretty well-kept figure.
Our makeover team are confident they've transformed Annie from a childish 5-year-old into a sizzling hot babe. Now she's ready to meet her ultimate match. Making children's dreams come true. 10 years older in 10 days.
Follow the money. $500,000. The amount the world's largest producer of guided missiles, Raytheon, is paying to co-develop a curriculum with an Adelaide high school. It will focus on science and maths. $636.5 billion. The amount of Australia that is owned by foreign interests. It is about 29% of all our equity. Of this, China owns approximately 1%. $609,000. The amount the pharmaceuticals industry spent every day in the first 6 months of 2009 influencing US lawmakers.
plastic surgeon this week said he found and married a girl with potential so he could sculpt her into his ideal wife, saying, "It's better than nature could do." Many of us experience anxieties about our bodies or parts of our bodies at different stages of our lives. We spoke with people in Melbourne and Sydney and asked them, what would you change about your body?
Hi Elizabeth, how are you? Just stand in this little spot for me. And...
One part. As in body-wise? It's a really tough one.
I don't know.
It's annoying having to worry about your appearance, but
Me teeth, me front teeth. No, I ain't got one, but...
I think I changed my face shape. My face.
a less long face.
Yeah, I changed my face shape.
Change my stomach.
A flat stomach.
Skinny. My six-pack, or lack thereof.
I don't like my feet. My husband thinks I have feet like a village woman.
Boobs. All women want breasts.
I go for a couple of Ds.
I don't know, it would give me back my self-esteem because I'm very self-conscious of my breasts being so small, so I wear padded bras to make them big, yeah.
A bigger dick? I don't know.
Size of my penis.
Giant beast of a sheath.
Thicker, fatter, I don't know. I got a tattoo to try and toughen it up. It was that small, so.
Does all of it count? Like, just can I just say all of it and that count as one part?
No one's ever happy with their bodies. No one is ever happy. They could be looking beautiful and they're still not happy.
Oh, look, I'm old and weary and I've done pretty well up to this stage, so I don't think I'd bother changing about it.
I'm quite comfortable with that. I'm diminutive, albeit, but I've got a loud voice.
My freckles. My first instinct was to talk about skin colour.
I'd like to be white for a while, yes, yes.
I tried to sandpaper them off when I was younger.
I'd get rid of any jail tattoos that I've got.
To take all the wrinkles away.
Just to blend in.
Life makes you happy, the body don't. Yeah.
Jesus, he's all about life, or so says a $1 million campaign by the Bible Society, supported by 15 separate Christian denominations. And it's all to encourage people to, and I quote, seek for themselves the truth of the Bible and more particularly who Jesus is.
The campaign includes billboards, bumper stickers, skywriting, and yes, even a V8 supercar. And now there's also this very swish-looking TV ad.
Hey Jesus, thanks for everything. Like, thanks for sunshine. But what about sunburn? How come the more you have, the more you want? We've got more friends, but less friendship. More convenience, less patience. More hope, but more uncertainty. A healthy body still isn't good enough. And how come the best things always have to end?
Would you just look at that cinematography and those colours? It's so light and breezy, it just makes you want to buy health insurance.
And what's not to like about the message of Jesus? Compassion, tolerance, good deeds?
That's true, but there is one Christian denomination supporting this campaign whose track record makes them a little less on message than the rest.
So we thought we'd knock up a more targeted version of this ad for the Catholic Church.
Hey Jesus, thanks for everything. Like, thanks for sunshine. But what about burning? How come the more you have, the more you want? We've got more friends, but less friendship. More understanding, but less tolerance. More hope, but more uncertainty. A healthy body still isn't good enough. And why will my life come to such a bad end?
Coming up next week on Hungry Beast, what's in store for that guy who does the Melbourne Cup interviews? Our exclusive preview.
Mr. Turnbull, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Mr. Edmonds, why don't you answer our question? Mr. Edmonds, what do you got to hide?
That's next week on Hungry Beast.
That's it for Hungry Beast again. Thanks for joining us. And unless we do get an offer to be on Rudd Live, expect us here at the same time next week.
Remember, you can find more Hungry Beast stories, including extended interviews with our tween girls, during the week on our website. And you can post your own video stories as well at abc.net.au/hungrybeast.
As refugee anxiety sweeps Australia, we'll leave you tonight with a little treasure we found this week.
It's a clip from hip-hop artist Bangs, a Sudanese refugee who's made Melbourne his home since 2004.
We love this clip because it's hip-hop that's refreshingly polite. If you want to see the full thing, it's gone massive online. See you next week.
Good night.
Who like to go to the movies, you know, especially you, girl. Let me take you to the movie, shorty. I'm sure later on you will be my baby. Let's sit down and just be by my side. I got the popcorn, I know what as you like. Let me take you to the movie, shorty. I'm sure later on you will be my baby. Let's sit down and just be by my side. I got the popcorn, I know what as you like. Hey shorty, you're really looking nice. Let me take you to the movie, cause I know you like. You got nothing to worry about. Hold the popcorn and the drink. Let me pay the money so we can get in. Now hold my hand and take a step to the door. Be careful, don't fall. Let's sit on those two chairs alone. Watch